This video is brought to you by Winner Gear. What's up YouTube, Saf here on Super Saf TV and welcome to episode 4 of the Ask Saf Q&A series. Now I haven't posted a video in about 2 weeks and that's because I've been ill again. Yes, again. And now you're probably thinking this guy's always ill, and whenever I do one of these videos I'm always talking about how I've just been recovering, and the reason for that is there's too many bugs going around. I mean, everyone seems to be ill and passing things around, so I don't know what it is, but anyway, I'm slowly getting better, so I thought let me just kick things off again in terms of videos with another episode. So we had loads of questions for the previous episodes, and this time around I didn't actually post anything on Facebook and Instagram. I've just used questions that we had on YouTube and Twitter, and that's because we had some great questions on YouTube and Twitter. But don't worry, if your question isn't featured on this one, you can have another opportunity. I'm doing these regularly, so roughly every 2 weeks I am keeping these consistent, and these have been doing pretty well, so I am going to be carrying these on. So let's get straight to the questions for this episode. Now the first one, which is the primary question of this episode, is from Mohamed, and that is, what apps do you use on a regular basis? So very good question. Now I was going to do one of those what's on my Android or what's on my iPhone kind of a video, and this is something that a lot of people do ask, what apps do I use on a regular basis? So I would say I'm quite a simple user when it comes to apps, but just quickly running through all of the apps that I use, from the ones that I use most to the ones that I use at least on a daily basis. There is a few of these, and hopefully you can see if these are some of the apps that you use, and there may be some apps which you've not heard of and you can download, and hopefully they'll be useful to you as well. So starting off, the app that I probably use most on my smartphone is WhatsApp. And this is the app that I use to communicate and stay in touch with my family and friends. And I've kind of don't use SMS anymore. I'm sure a lot of you don't use text messaging anymore because WhatsApp has kind of taken over. And it's not perfect. I'm not saying it's a perfect app, but all of the alternatives that I have tried to use, not everyone's on there. So I mean, you know, they're great apps, but you go onto there and it's a bit of a ghost town because all your contacts aren't on there. Whereas on WhatsApp, pretty much everybody who's everybody uses it, so it's just a nice way to keep in touch with family and friends for me, and that is probably the app that I use most. Following on from that, it's social media. Now all of my social media links will be in the description below if you want to go ahead and follow me on those. Now in terms of order, I think Instagram is probably the app that I use most. As a lot of you already know, I like taking pictures and I like sharing pictures, so Instagram is an app that I use quite often. Following on from that, it's probably Twitter. Now Twitter, I never used to use it much before, but recently I have started using it more and I do enjoy it, and it's the best way to sort of ask any questions, any quick questions. If you just want to ask something quickly on there, then I can respond quickly on there as well because it's nice and short and easy to use. Following on from that, it's Facebook, I would say, but not Facebook the app, the standard profile app. It's actually the Pages Manager app. That's because the place that I use most on Facebook is my page. I don't use my profile. I very rarely use my profile. It is the page that I use to interact with people most. So you can follow me on there once again. And the Pages Manager app, if you do have a Facebook page, I definitely recommend you download and install that because it just makes it that much easier to manage your pages, especially if you've got multiple pages as well. Google Plus is the fourth app that I use for social media. Not a heavy user. I wouldn't say I'm a heavy user of Google Plus, but I do use it and it's a nice app. In terms of email, I use Outlook.com. Now I like Gmail and I do use Gmail as well, but my email client of choice on my smartphone is Outlook.com. And I think it works really well, and I think Microsoft have done a great job in terms of the design. It's very nice and clean, and it's very similar to what you find online as well. So I really like that clean interface with all the animations and everything, and that's the app that I use for email. Now moving on, YouTube goes without saying. This is something that I use to watch a lot of videos on. Now the reason why this isn't higher up in the list is because most of my videos I like to watch on a big screen, so you know, I'll just have them on through my Android TV box, so I just like to watch them more on a larger screen rather than on a phone. But if I'm out and about, then I will use the YouTube app. Great app, and it works really well. Now in addition to the YouTube app, the Creator Studio app, now this is something that you may or may not have heard of. This is something from YouTube that was introduced roughly about 6 months ago, and this is great for anybody that owns a channel. So if any of you guys out there have a YouTube channel, I definitely recommend you download the YouTube Creator Studio app. Now this basically allows you to overview your videos, so lets you keep on track in terms terms of your videos, in terms of comments, likes, dislikes, and things like that. So you can stay on top of those things. You can also respond to comments very easily. So these days I'll respond to more comments on my smartphone if I can, rather than always having to go onto a computer as you had to do traditionally. So Creator Studio, great app, and I'll definitely recommend it. The Facebook Messenger app is something that I also occasionally use, once again, to stay in touch with family and friends. The thing that I like about this app is that you can use it on pretty much any smartphone, but you can also use it on a computer, which is really nice. So if I'm on a computer, my phone's charging or something, then I can still use that there while I am on the PC. Or if you're on a Mac or something as well, that's quite useful there because it is just within your browser. Now this is something that lacks on WhatsApp as well. This is something that I wish WhatsApp had, is a desktop version as well. So you could use it on your desktop as well as on your smartphone and across multiple smartphones as well. This is something that you can't do with a WhatsApp, and this is a limitation. So Facebook Messenger is quite a nice touch, and I do like that on here. Before we continue, just want to take a short break to tell you a little bit about my favorite car mount. Now this is the Winner Gear Montar car mount, which you have seen featured on the channel many times before, and for me this is the best car mount that you can buy. I've personally had mine for about 2 years. That's because it's got very high quality, and it's also universal, so no matter how many times I change devices, it's pretty much going to work with any device that I have. Now Winner Gear have also been kind enough to set up a voucher code for the SuperSaf TV viewers, so you can get 10% off the Montar car mount on Amazon, either .com or .co.uk, and you can simply use the voucher code SuperSaf, which will give you 10% off. So now moving on, in terms of Google services, now these are my two most recommended Google services if you don't use them already. Firstly, Google Keep. Absolutely love this app, and I'm sure a lot of you will agree if you use this as well. This organizes my life, basically. This app organizes my life. You've got to-do lists, and you can make some quick notes and things, so you can, if I've got something, if I've got some ideas for a video or something, I'll quickly just jot them down in Google Keep, and then I can also access them once again on the PC. So that's really good because I just have to be on a browser, and I can go in to Google Chrome, for example, and check out Google Keep and amend my notes on there or anything, and especially to-do lists. I mean, very useful there. You can really help organize yourself using to-do lists on Google Keep. Definitely recommend you download that app as well. Google Drive is another one that I use. I've actually stopped really using Microsoft Word and Excel and things because I find Google Drive so much easier to use, because once again it's synced across all your devices, tablet, your phone, and your PC, and it just works so well in sync. So for example, if I'm about to do a video, I will type up the script of it on my computer because it just makes it so much easier. I'm sat there on the desk, I will type up the script for a video onto there, and then I'll have it on my phone or my tablet. So when I am presenting the video, then I've got that script to me, there for me in hand, and I can practice it and things like that. Really useful. And this is once again something that I use for most of my documents and things. That they're just done on Google Drive now, rather than having to use Microsoft Word or anything. Very useful. Occasionally you also use Snapchat now and then, so if I want to do a few snaps here or there. Once again, I do like taking a lot of images, so this is something nice to sort of keep in touch with people on. Dropbox, I'm just mentioning Dropbox here because Dropbox, I don't actually physically use it, but it's always on in the background, so any pictures and stuff that I take will be automatically backed up onto Dropbox whenever I am on a Wi-Fi connection, and this is really useful. So just to make sure all of those pictures are secure in the cloud, and you get 50 gig free when you buy a Samsung device anyway. So for example, I've got the Note 4 here, so that's all there, synced up, backed up. So if for instance, if I was to lose my phone, which I hope I don't do, I've got the images, which are quite important, and videos and things, all are backed up onto there, which is absolutely great. Now moving on to some of the secondary apps. Now this is something that I get asked a lot of questions on. Saf, what do you edit your pictures on your phone? What do you use to edit your pictures on your phone? Now there's three main apps that I use. Now I don't usually edit my pictures in terms of add filters and things like that. I don't really do that, but I use Phonto. Now this is quite self-explanatory really. I mean, this is for Instagram because Instagram uses square format photos. Now on something like the Note 4 or even the Samsung Galaxy S5, which I was using before, they take images in 16:9, so you're looking at a widescreen image. So kind of cropping that down sometimes, depending on how you've done the composition, can be a little bit awkward sometimes. So it's sometimes just easier just to add a border on the top and the bottom, and Phonto does that so quickly and easily. So this is something that I use on a daily basis just to pull images onto Instagram sometimes. Phonto Grid, now this is something that a lot of people have asked as well. So whenever you see one of those images that I've posted that has 2 or 3 images sort of merged into into one in a nice sort of creative way. That's Photo Grid. Once again, this is a free app that you can download on iOS as well as Android. Definitely recommend it. Really easy way to combine your images into one image rather than posting 5 or 6 images and spamming your followers' feeds. I definitely recommend you check that app out. And one other app that I get asked a lot about is how do you put text on your images? Now, Phonto is another free app which is great, and it's a really nice way to add text onto your images. So you know, watermark is a perfect example. So sometimes if there's an image that you want to add a watermark onto, you can do that so easily using Phonto. So you just open the image and you can add it, you can change the opacity, etc. Very nice and a simple app to use, and this is once again something that I definitely recommend. Almost come to an end now, there's just a few more here. Pulse is one that I use for my news, so this really lets you organize your news sources. So for me it's mainly tech, so you know, you've got things like The Verge and the best of tech just coming in straight into your feed there. So that's a really nice app. Skype and Hangouts I'm just mentioning here because sometimes if I'm doing video calls with my family, then Skype or Hangouts is something that I will use. So those are my daily use apps, and those are the apps that I use on a very regular basis. Hopefully those were quite useful to you. I mean, do drop me a comment below and let me know if you also use some of these apps, or if any of these apps you've not, you know, kind of heard of before and you will be downloading now and checking those out, which you may find useful. Do let me know. Now that has already taken up quite a large chunk of this video, so now moving on to some of the questions. We've got a few more questions here. Hopefully this video won't be too long. So Usman asks, do you watch football? If so, which team do you support? I don't watch football. Just never been into football. The only sport I watch is boxing. Any boxing fans out there, let me know. I don't actually watch any football whatsoever. Steve Turtle asks, will you continue to review a new tech like past reviews for Android TVs, Chromecast speakers, etc.? I love the channel, thanks mate. Well, the thing is, my primary, you know, sort of area is smartphones. I do occasionally review other tech as well, such as, you know, Android TV boxes and things like that, but it really depends. As a lot of you know, because I don't do YouTube full time, I am quite limited in terms of the time that I put towards videos. So I usually tend to do videos to which there is most demand. So if I see there's a lot of demand for a particular product, then I will bring that in and then I will do a review for it. So you know, if there is something that you guys want to see reviewed that's out of the ordinary, then do let me know and I will try to bring that onto the channel. But my primary sort of area is smartphones, and that's my area of expertise as well. So I usually do stick to smartphones, but occasionally if there's a very interesting product that I do want to check out, then I will check out others, and I will continue doing that as well. But once again, it does come down to the demand. I mean, if there's not that many people interested in seeing a product, then it doesn't really make it worth my while to take out the time which I could potentially use for reviewing something else that a lot more people will find useful. The next question now, Protox Gaming asks, what would your perfect pizza be? My perfect pizza is a pizza with a cheese and tomato base and every meat possible on the menu. So we're looking at doner kebab, chicken, pepperoni, salami, meatballs, whatever meat that you can find that's on the menu. Slap that on there, and that is my perfect pizza. I'm a freaking carnivore and I love it, so that is my perfect pizza. What's your perfect pizza? Do drop me a comment below and let me know. Now this is a really good question from Dorian ZXZ. Do you think Samsung will get more better next year by dropping a phone series we might never hear about? Now this is a very interesting question, because if a lot of you don't know, you know, in the tech news, we've heard that Samsung are going to start cutting down on devices, the amount of devices that they produce, because if you look at the past, I mean, for each device they've got so many different versions, it just gets very confusing. So for example, last year for the S4, they had the S4 Active, they had the S4 Original, they had the S4 Mini, they had the S4 Zoom with that massive zoom lens. Basically they had a lot of different versions of their flagship. They've done the same with the S5 as well, but I've not really even kept track with the amount of different S5 versions that they have had available. And I think this is a really bad move from Samsung, because yes, it's nice that they're creating variety and they're giving a lot of options, and with Samsung they're a kind of company that can actually try out different things. They've got that much money and they've got that much resources that they can try out lots of different things and really test the market to see what works and what doesn't. But you know, Samsung, you've done enough of that, and now you need to concentrate on you know, just some of your key devices, and this will make it a lot less confusing for a lot of users. So a lot of customers will find that a lot less confusing. I mean, let's just take Apple for example. Perfect example here. they have traditionally only had one phone every year, and that's it. I mean, how simple do they keep things? You know, they've started having 2 phones every year now, so you've got the iPhone 6 and the iPhone 6 Plus. That's it. You want a new iPhone? Do you want a bigger one or do you want a smaller one? I mean, yeah, there's more to that, but just generally speaking, it's just so much easier for people to make a choice because there isn't that much of a variety there. It's not confusing for consumers, and I think with all of the different options that Samsung do, I mean, it's you know, it can backfire for them because, you know, users are thinking, which S5, which flagship shall I get? So I do think they should stick to, you know, the standard flagship S5 series and the Note series, and that's it. That should be their flagship. And then they've got their budget phones, which is great as well. So for people who, you know, can't afford those flagships, that's absolutely great. They can go for those budget ones, but they definitely do need to cut down their, you know, options and just make things a lot easier for consumers. So I do think this will work out really well for them if they do this next year. So there we have it, episode 4 of the Ask Staff Q&A video. Hope you enjoyed it, and I know it was a bit of a long one. There was a lot of things to discuss, but the app thing really did take up a lot of time. But anyway, I do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, then please hit that thumbs up button for me. It really does help me out. And if you've got any questions for the next episode, then drop them in the comment section below, or on Twitter you can use the hashtag AskSaf, and I will try to pick up as many as I can in the next episode, which will be coming in roughly about 2 weeks. And if you want to see more videos like this one and you haven't subscribed, then be sure to subscribe. I've got lots more videos coming up. Thanks for watching. This is Saf on Super Saf TV, and I'll see you next time. If you want to see more regular videos like this one, then be sure to hit the subscribe button, which will be below. If you're on a mobile device, it may be somewhere else. If you want to see my previous related video, then hit the link right here. If you want to stay in touch over Facebook, Twitter and Google+, then all of the addresses will be there somewhere, as well as direct links in the description below. Okay, if you're still watching, then that means you've not done one of those things, so no. Yeah. Anyway, I'm just gonna go downstairs. See. Okay. There isn't really a downstairs. Anyway, so yeah.